Greatness is rarely accidental. You know, you don't just drift towards greatness. Eh? Drift has a direction, and that direction is usually downwards towards comfort, distraction, and average outcomes. When left unattended, life often moves by inertia rather than intention. You know, now to drift in this context means to move without deliberate steering. And in our day-to-day life, this looks like reacting instead of choosing, consuming instead of creating, following habits instead of building them, saying yes to whatever appears and postponing what matters until later becomes a lifestyle. You know, mediocrity often does not arrive dramatically. It arrives quietly through small defaults. Defaults like inconsistent effort, neglected health, unchallenged thinking, poor boundaries, endless entertainment, staying where you have outgrown. And the most common one, mistaking being busy for progress. You know, greatness, however defined, usually requires design. Whether in character, craft, business, fitness, leadership, or even relationships, it asks for intention. That is clear standards, repeated practice, sacrifice, correction, patience, and the courage to be uncomfortable on purpose. You know, no one accidentally becomes excellent. Just as the way no garden accidentally becomes organized. Without cultivation, weeds will fill that garden. You know, psychologically, the brain prefers ease and familiar routines. Now, this conserves energy, it was useful for survival in the past. But it can also create stagnation, especially in modern life. Without conscious goals and systems, people default to immediate rewards over long-term growth. You know, and intentionality counters this. When you define values, schedule priorities, and track behavior, you reduce reliance on mood. You stop asking, what do I feel like doing today? And you start asking, what kind of life am I building? You know, identity follows repetition. Repeated drifts will form a drifting self, while repeated discipline forms a directed self. You know, spiritually, to live unconsciously is to hand your life to circumstance. Intention is a form of authorship. Intention will say, I may not control everything, but I will participate in shaping my path. You know, purpose is less often found than practiced. People always think that they'll find purpose or you are born with purpose. No, you practice your purpose. Practice, there is where you'll find your purpose. You know, in short, people rarely drift into greatness. Drift tends towards mediocrity because comfort requires little effort. If you're not intentional, habits, distractions, and circumstances will choose for you. A meaningful life usually comes from steering, not floating. You know, my people, hail. Hail.